Our audience at Inbound Logistics is smart. Too smart not to keep up with what's moving and shaking in logistics and supply chain management. So here we are to tackle some of the questions that are top of mind for the Inbound Logistics audience. 1. What is the single biggest pain point that your customers raised with you this year as opposed to 2 years ago?
Technology.
It's disruptions. ROI.
Footprint.
Probably visibility.
Fulfillment's really changed.
You know, Joe, 2 years ago, I think we heard a lot about labor availability, and that's still an issue out there. But I think with all the disruption going on, we're starting to see customers wanting more flexibility, more agility, ability to change their systems quickly.
Yeah, I think that when you're spending multi-million-dollar investments in supply chain, it's a scary thing, right? And you don't want to buy something today that isn't going to work for tomorrow. And I think the big focus and emphasis on the show for us and for many people here is mobile robotics and the ability to scale and grow as the business evolves, right? What you're seeing behind us, you know, for instance, the Intramove, our mobile robots, and also the recently announced Agile store for pallet shuttle is solving for just exactly that, right?
Yep.
And I think for me, it's going to be like building today and being ready for tomorrow.
Okay, so what all our customers are looking when we are approaching them for new opportunities or new projects is actually the main point is the solution. So what we are, which is the big benefit that can bring Automa with the combination of Comau to their needs, okay? And not talking about mainly on the standardization of machineries we have, okay, but which is the best customized solution we can give to them by using our standard machineries. First point is this one. Second point, of course, is the digitalization of all the flow and process. Okay, so having all the machineries plus the automated system connected with the factory, with the main software of the factory, to having a one unique, let me say, platform that can give KPIs to the customer in real time when they need.
Well, I think that it's really important to offer flexibility, as Gianni was just saying. Have definitely a standard set of solutions, but then offer flexibility for customization. Warehouses nowadays have all kind of different shapes and sizes. Our customers have lots of different needs when it comes to throughput. So one warehouse must have a super fast throughput, so it might be better to use like a stacker crane. The other one has maybe a slower throughput than you would actually, or it needs more variability. You would probably rather use a shuttle system that has different ways to go. Also use an AMR for a different section where you need more flexibility with let's say a different type of throughput with different types of parts.
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest thing is that fulfillment's really changed, right? It's really gone to be much more dynamic. Things are changing rapidly. The supply chain itself is challenging coming in, getting it to customers much faster. And so they're really looking for solutions that can help them really meet that customer satisfaction goal that they're after.
Yeah, I think the other thing they're bringing us is as they get more comfortable with automation, they're bringing new solutions they want to attack. So recent examples of us entering the multi-temperature space, or most recently case handling, are because customers have brought those problems and pain points to us.
Yeah, I think the biggest pain point is probably visibility. Customers have a lot of different types of solutions in their warehouses today, come from a lot of different vendors. There's a lot going on in these warehouses, and sometimes it's just understanding what's happening in my warehouse right now and how do I get ahead of any possible exception scenarios that are going to occur. All these different systems from all these different vendors, there's a lot of data generated by these systems, and it's hard to get visibility into this massive amount of data that customers are generating with their systems. And so the story of their operations lives in that data, and they need a way to be able to understand what's happening right now and not be so reactive but more proactive. So I think they're just looking for better insights into their operations now.
I would say one of the single biggest pain points that they're bringing to us this year compared to 2 years ago would be the ability to layer safety and proximity detection capabilities on mixed fleet trucks. You know, 2 years ago it was a trend, if you would, of, you know, hey, we want to have proximity detection, and they really didn't know which direction in terms of fleet management they want to go. One of the biggest pain points was having 3 or 4 different proprietary hardwares, using 3 or 4 different proprietary softwares to manage that. And today the technology's advanced to where you can have one proprietary hardware and software and give everyone the capabilities that they want.
Yeah, so today I think ROI is definitely one of those big pain points, especially with the change in the economy, with tariffs and whatnot. It's definitely something that has kicked up a level since 2 years ago, and it's definitely part of why we built the CPJ to be low cost and really help to get that ROI for our customers.
So 2 years ago, a lot of it had to do with labor stress, surrounding labor stress or gaining employees, right, coming out of the pandemic.
Yep.
Lately, it's been more about productivity gain, how to adopt automation in order to get more lift from like rapid deployment, localized systems that you can deploy yourself to meet demand, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, look, in this macroeconomic environment, the single biggest thing we hear is help us sweat our assets. It's about getting more out of their current buildings rather than we grow through only building greenfields. So all new complex challenges tend to be operational in nature. Some are technology-based, some are people-based, some are process-based.
Great question. Right now we're seeing a difference of us being a barcode company to customers asking for what more can you do. So bigger, deeper data analytics, more emphasis on looking at cartons, packages, to telling whether there's defects. So we went from barcode to camera-based to now we're detecting what's wrong with your package. Is it side by side? Are they next to each other? So there's been a lot of change from typical barcode reading to deep learning using camera technologies, almost acting as an inspection tool to the packages.
They really seem to be focused on how to get these systems implemented, how they apply to their operation. That's something we work very closely with them on, really understanding their business and how the technology that we've developed can really support them. We stand pretty close with them and make sure that what we're working on is something that's deployed, capable, and meets what their needs are. So we spend a lot of time in data, spend a lot of time in operations, and designing with them.
So it's disruptions and how you handle those disruptions. Your change management approach. So we really are priding ourselves on resiliency, really trying to make sure we understand customers' problems, get to the root cause of things, and make sure that we have lasting solutions for what they really need to solve to give that resilience, because it's all about the rhythm of a warehouse just working correctly every day, all day.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I would say prospective customers, clients that are coming in looking for a YMS, one of the big differences is they want foreknowledge of what's going to happen, right? They want to understand, based on all the data in our yard, how can we predict the next thing that might happen, right? Seasonal information, all of that. I think a lot of that comes down to the prevalence of AI now. We go, hey, there's so much information that we track in our system, how can we look ahead? That's probably the newest kind of pain point that we've seen pop up. The other side is a lot of the same, right? You think of the space as always growing, always maturing. Well, based on research that we've seen from ABI Research Company, they've said, there's 100% awareness of yard management today, but only about 20% adoption. So you have 80% of companies out there know they need something in the yard, but they haven't implemented anything. So we have some new stuff, but also a lot of the same.
So it's still, I'm going to say, operator compliance, right? There's a lot of technology out there, but people still have to interface with it. So how do you bring technology in and have your people adapt it? Because some of it hasn't solved the problem. So turnover is still high. Finding good employees is a challenge, and then the upcoming challenge is energy itself as new technologies come about. So everything automated is electrified. So energy resilience is becoming a huge topic of conversation.
I think everybody knows that the world of AI and robotics is coming. It's very clear that there are some of these biggest challenges in supply chain flexibility, and just automation coming. So people are aware of it, and they are looking for solutions that work today to bring ROI in a handful of months in order to improve their operations.
I think the biggest pain point is there's a lot of talk about a lot of change. AI, lots of technology, and people being faced with choices and what to do with that technology and how to make it work. A lot of pressure to deliver ROI, and that coupled with a lot of pressure from customers to do more and faster is making it pretty interesting.
I think the biggest pain point right now for our customers, and I can say like people walking the floor right now, is technology, and it's it's not anymore about controlling the warehouse anymore. They need to control like more orders, having multiple warehouses, different countries, and being able to optimize full visibility and control between different channels.
We see, and this has been an increasing need over the years, and we're seeing the noise get louder and louder. Our customers want to be enabled themselves to make decisions and make changes to their operation without coming to us. And so enablement is something that we're working hard and we have solved for our customer base. Enablement means I want to change workflows. I want to address new requirements from my customers, and I want to do it on my own. I don't need to go to my vendor all the time and take time and pay for it. I want the tools to do it myself, and that is a big part of solving what they need to do, and that's improve customer service and react to the customer needs.
Yeah, so it's been a unique year from mid last year to now. We have a large set of our customers who are CPG, so they're sourcing product from all over, trying to figure out the variation in tariffs throughout the year, and how they're going to deal with the costs or how they're going to deal with sourcing has been a huge challenge for them. It's delayed some components of what they're trying to do as a business. It's accelerated other components of what they're trying to do.
I would argue the pain point itself has not really changed over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
What I would argue is that customers are more aware of what is really in their way of doing business. So customers are more aware, this is the pain points we have. They've been experiencing all the boundaries that are in their way to do more business, to work more efficient, to grow faster, to fulfill customer demands. And customers are not willing anymore to wait. So they want that to resolve. So they are more savvy to find a warehouse management solution that is really fulfilling their needs. That's what I would argue.
We're hearing a lot more about footprint compared to 2 years ago, and labor, as always, matters. So our customers are always trying to be more efficient with the labor that they're using, the process packages, but footprints had some heightened importance because many of our customers are increasing the portion of buildings that they're automating where the building already exists, doing brownfields versus greenfields, whole new sites. And when you have brownfields, there tend to be tougher existing space constraints that you have to work around.
Yeah, great question. When we look at some of the customer requests and what they're asking now is flexibility. What can we do with automation that will work with several different size containers? So they're right sizing what parts in their automated systems and racks to a size container. So we need to be able to build our containers to be able to work with different sizes within their systems.
If I reflect, I've been this show for a number of years now, but if I reflect on this, in previous years you would have an outsized focus on greenfield exercises, full automation. And this year I think there's a bit of a realization that brownfield individual workflow automation is worth pursuing. So that's something that a lot of our customers are looking at, saying, what can we do with our current footprint? Is there something that we can improve? What can we do to make our people more efficient and our processes? So a lot of the automation is what I would call pocket automation or single workflow automation.
Yeah, so it's interesting. For myself, I actually started before on the other side where 3PLs were actually my customers. And so the same ask of them is the same ask of today. It's like real-time visibility. They want to know what's going on within their systems. Where's my inventory? How about my orders? And so for us, one of the ways we're actually solving that is by providing them a custom portal that provides them that real-time view as far as where the orders are, the inventory status, how much inventory we have on hand, and how long it's taken to get to a customer.
So I think it's really a continuation of a pain point that they've been having for years, and it's really around labor and making sure that their operations are running as efficiently as possible. Labor is still a tight market for us in the warehousing space.
And I think everything has been very cost focused, maybe now than ever before. That there's a lot of offers in the automation space, and people are very focused on getting the right thing for the low price. I mean, that's really a challenge.
Yeah, they've moved on beyond the labor. We've become almost just an assumption that we apply to everything. But what they're coming to us now with is, how do I get more out of this? How do I get more out of my warehouse? I don't want to move into something new. I don't have the time to tear down. I don't want to do a duplication.
Yeah.
So what can Five offer me that can let me last a little bit longer in this warehouse, or even 10 years down the road? And so we've finally gotten past labor, and we're finally talking about some real things that are fun to talk about.
It's a great question, Joe. So what we're seeing now, and what I like to see is kind of one of the blog articles and white papers I've written in recent years, is this transition we've had regarding how IT and OT environments are merging together. We usually call that IT-OT convergence. And I think what we've seen maybe in the last 10 to 15 years is a little bit more of where we've seen IT kind of becoming more prevalent in OT spaces. And for better or worse, that's kind of caused different ripple effects we're seeing within the OT market specifically. So I think in the last couple years specifically, as your question's asking, we're starting to see a little bit of a shift back to saying like, hey, we need to maybe start thinking through whether or not it's such a good idea to have more of these IT-based principles infiltrating OT and keeping them there, or maybe look for solutions more catered to our OT space, which look at things like connectivity, availability, uptime, these important features of the OT environment, which may be a bit different than IT.
Well, I think the pain point hasn't changed. It's still efficiency, but cost reduction.
Okay.
But now the tools are available now they weren't available 2 years ago that maybe even address those issues. So with the advent of AI, computer vision, those kind of tools are now, I would say, mainstream, but they're available. So they're really going after it. So that cost reduction, labor side, they're really going for it this time.
I think right now what we're seeing is an over-complexity in the warehouse, trying to get back to basics. There's a lot of things going on, whether it's robotics, whether it's AI, any type of advancements, but what they're finding out is the systems they're using, their core systems, their warehouse management systems, aren't really set up to take all this on. So how do we dial that back? Get a system that's fit for our operations so we can really take advantage of these enhancements that we're seeing here at MODEX 26.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I would say the biggest one that really stands out is cost of capital, ROI, return on investment. Like those are continuing conversations the past couple of years. So how are companies going to squeeze more out of what they have already? With automation, with their existing infrastructure, buildings that is real estate, right? That seems to be a common theme, and that's something we continually talk about and really evaluate, especially with AutoStore, powered by Cardex. Like that's where we're really well positioned to help capitalize on those business cases and drive that value.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge is interoperability. Something that's here, that's what we bring. That's the strength that we bring to the market, is that interoperability. These people need to have mixed fleets, and for us, we have all the different form factors that we can help them solve those challenges. But that is, you're more consistently hearing, how do we get all these systems to work together seamlessly?
Yeah, you know that 2 years ago, we are still nobody. Okay, because when the people look at Quicktron, they think that everybody is same. They are all made in China. You are Chinese robotic companies, and at that time we talk more about our technologies and our products, and we try to show that what's the difference, why we are so good. But now you see that first, this market really developed very fast. I think we are in the right timing to enter into the North American market.
Okay.
Yeah, some pain points. I think first that the customer, they have some concern about the quality issues. They will ask that, will you face any barriers when you export your robotics? Do you have the plan that you build up your factory in North America? The strategy is Quicktron. We will always focus on local to local.
Okay.
But I think what very interesting thing is local to local doesn't only mean the manufacturing. It means that how can you take the advantages of your relative strengths? For example, China, we have very mature supply chain. So if we purchase all the components in China and assemble there, do the testing, then deliver to North America, we are able to offer very good price, very high cost competitive product to the customer. They love it. But on the other side, for solution, for the fulfillment, for the after service, we have to do locally. So that's the thing that we understand concern of customers, but it still takes some time to let everybody really believe that how we are working. We have the factory in China. We also have a workshop to do the assembly in Malaysia. Certainly, if customer they need some customization solutions, we also have the possibilities to handle it.
Okay.
And some more thing I'd like to quickly refer is about customers' expectation on the solutions. They no more focus only on a single module. For example, we have the tote handling, we have the pallet handling. Not sure, for sure that pallet handling is very, very popular here.
Yep.
But you see that a lot of automotive companies and also the electronic companies, and also the FMCG, they prefer a mixed solution.
Right.
Not only give me one solution, because now I know that I have very obvious pallet solution request, but in the future, if I also do the piece picking, how can I do?
Right.
So fortunately, we have a very wide scope of the product and solution. I hope that we give some good answer to the audience here.
No, that's great.
I think one of the biggest ones is the labour shortage.
Okay.
Particularly as the warehouses and facilities are getting bigger by the drive of e-commerce, fulfillment. They're getting bigger, they're needing to move things over a longer distance, and they haven't got the people to do that.
Sure.
So fork truck drivers, health and safety, ergonomics, all those things play a major issue in those warehouse operations. So what we're finding is people are needing to change the way fork truck movement has been done for many, many years and find alternative solutions.
Well, I'm going to respond from an automation perspective because obviously that's what I do, and a lot of the customers that we've been speaking to are still really early in their journey. They're dealing with the pressures, the labor shortages, the safety concerns that come with those labor shortages, and just having to hire anybody to move material today, and therefore needing to automate. And biggest pain point being is, where do I get started, and what's that really investment going to look like to get started, and since I'm still figuring it out, how am I able to make changes, who makes those changes, and those are a lot of the things that we're talking about because we're solving for those barriers to entry and trying to address that pain.
Right. So what we see is that we see a shift from the focus of being more cost efficient and then also have more efficiency in operations to a more adaptable operation and also resilience.
Okay.
That's also mainly to, I would say, global economy, global events.
Sure.
That may have an impact on supply chain and could potentially cause disruptions.
Right.
So you want to make sure that your operation is more flexible, more adaptable to these kind of events.
So that's interesting. One of the biggest challenges that we see with our clients today is the labor pool, and this is not a near-term challenge. This has been a long-term challenge, right? And so, helping our customers make sure that they get the best service by having the right people in the right roles within their yard operations.
Right.
And so in some areas it's very difficult, right? So we're looking at different ways of being able to provide those services to our clients to help them fulfill their deliverables to their clients. And so the labor pool is the biggest challenge that we see.